What's going on, guys? Flying DBZ here, and we're back for another Pokemon Masters video, and we're finally going to be taking a look at Elesa and Zebstrika because they finally got their grid. So we're going to go into the grid right now and actually take a look at them. So, honestly, they're basically the same as Luxray and Volcaner, but of course they're just naturally going to be hitting a little bit harder just due to the fact that they're actually a striker. So, but I think my Luxray is actually going to be stronger than Zebstrika just because I have him 5 out of 20 in the potential. So, but we'll take a look at that in a sec. So, at least his grid is almost the same as Luxray as well. So, but anyways, we'll still take a look at it. So, the bottom left, we have Burst In. Ensures that the user's next attack will be a critical hit when the Pokemon enters the battle. So, like in co-op, this will actually be decent because every time you switch in and then out, you're basically going to get a guaranteed crit, which is nice. But I mean, when you have your crit high enough, you're going to be critting almost every time anyway. So this is sort of useless. Unless you are one of those players that just constantly switch in and out of battle. I don't know why you do that, but just waste a lot of time. But honestly, this one is kind of pointless. And then over here, you have a Spark power-up. More Spark power up, and then the yellow tile down here, you also have Paralysis Energy 3. Powers up moves when the target is paralyzed, so Luxray also has that. And then you have Spark Move Gauge Refresh. And then speed cannot be lower, so haste. And there's a limited amount that you could actually get for 1 out of 5 in the grid, and I only have 1 out of 5 for Elesa, so yeah, I only have so much I could play with, so this is what I have. But anyways, and then you have another Spark power up. And then, of course, you have a Sync Move power-up over here, too, which is typical. And then you have more Spark power-up on the bottom right. And then you also have Pressure Cooker 2. Once per battle, has a moderate chance of reducing the user's Sync Move countdown by 1 when in a pinch. So, like, I think when you are, like, 20% HP, then the Sync Move countdown will go down. But, I don't know. Sometimes that might be a little bit too late. I could be wrong where it's 20%, but I'm pretty sure it's like maybe 40% or under. I could be wrong. But still, like, by 1, it is not that much. I mean, it can help, but, like, not really. And then you have Fast Track 2. Has a moderate chance of raising the Pokemon's speed after it uses a Sync move, or after it uses a move. So, in a way, it's almost like Garchomp as well, because Garchomp gets faster every time he uses a move. So, like, he's, like, so far as Zebstrika, like, not really impressive. I mean, the top is definitely a lot better, but the bottom, not really too much. And then you also have Hostile Environment 1. So raises the chance of inflicting status conditions with the additional effects of moves. So if you're planning on going for status effects on the target, you're going to be better off using Luxray, because even 1 out of 5 in the grid, Luxray is already going to have a much better chance at paralyzing the target and flinching, because on Thunderfang, you could flinch and paralyze. So if you get very lucky, you can get both off, and then you're just going to be doing so much more damage with Luxray as well. So if you're planning on going for status conditions, then Luxray is going to be much better than Zebstrika. So let's continue, and then we have X Attack MP Refresh 2, and then more Spark power up. So yeah, so far the bottom isn't really that great. The bottom is mostly for Spark, so if you're interested in Spark, then I mean, there you go. But I would recommend going for Spark. So then on the bottom, I mean the top right, we have Wild Charge power up, and then we have Wild Charge Move Gauge Refresh, and then we also have Stand Fast 5, which is amazing. So instead of 20% recoil, we're going to be taking like 10% damage on recoil. So this is definitely a lot better, of course, but Luxray has healing when you have electric terrain up, and then you have a chance of healing after you use a move and everything too. So, like, I mean, I don't know, I prefer having the recoil percentage down over healing, because sometimes the healing won't be enough with how much damage you're actually doing to the target in this game. So I'd rather prefer Stand 5. So this is where Zebstrika has the advantage over Luxray in terms of raw power, because one, Zebstrika's attack will definitely be a lot higher, and 2, she has Stand Fast 5. 2 of them, so you are just going to be taking less damage on Wild Charge than Luxray, even with the healing, because the healing you can't rely on the healing, because if you do like 10,000 damage, for example, on the wild charge, you're going to be taking so much damage, and sometimes the healing won't be able to keep up with that. So I'd rather have stand fast 5. And then on the very top we have fierce entry 1, so raises the attack when the Pokemon enters the battle, so that's going to be pretty good to have as well. And then we also have inertia. The higher the user's speed, the more it powers up sync move. And then on the bottom, on the top left, we have agile entry 2. Sharply raises the user's evasiveness when the Pokemon enters a battle. Ramming speed, the more the user's speed has been raised, the more it powers up moves. And then we have first aid 4, and Luxray has that too. And then we also have electrifying MP refresh. And then, of course, another Wild Charge power-up and another Wild Charge power-up. So, the top is mostly for Wild Charge, like building up the Wild Charge, and the bottom is for Spark. So, I mean, you could pick what you want to do. But I prefer to go for a Wild Charge, just because if you plan on going for Thunderfang, Spark, then you could just use Luxray as the status condition Pokemon, because you're just going to be better off with that, because you got paralysis and flinch. So overall, I feel that Zebstrika is going to be much better when it comes to using Wild Charge, because then you could do, if you have Luxray, you can set up electric terrain, and then boom, there you go. Zebstrika is going to be good to go, and you're going to be doing so much damage on electric, on Wild Charge, I mean. So we're actually going to try that out. My Zebstrika is only 1 out of 5, but we can still test it out and see how we could perform. So I already have my team set up. I'm going to be using this team. We're using main lean, so at least we can get our crit up all the way, including with having max attack as well. So we're just going to test that out and see how Zebstrika is. So we're going to go into blasting off. We're going to do one battle over there, and then we're going to go into Volcaner's story event, so that we can see how they perform when they're super effective. But I could definitely, like, I already know Zebstrika is definitely going to be a lot stronger than Luxray in terms of pure damage. So we're just going to raise our attack, and then we're going to get our attack up over there. So, like, all we need to do is just have 1x attack up with Maylene, because then Zebstrika on its own will just get up to +4 anyway, so we'll be fine in terms of that. So what does, okay. So we don't want to use electrify. We don't want to use that. I just realized that. I don't use Zebstrika to actually know what what he properly or fully does. So we're going to start using a Wild Charge, and then let's see how much damage the Wild Charge does. So 1,500. So not bad. I mean, okay, never mind. Yeah. So, like, I mean, 1,500. You know what, let's actually just go into the water type event. I mean, Volcaner's event. At least we can see the proper numbers over there. But still, 1,500 damage on a non-super effective isn't, like, that bad, I guess. But I'll also show you guys the stats between Luxray and Zebstrika. So we'll go to the gears very quickly, because at least we can see both their stats all at once over here. So Zebstrika with the gear on is at 355 physical attack, and with the gears on with Luxray, he's at 354. So Luxray is just 1 point off of being the same as Zebstrika, but I do have my Luxray at 5 out of 20 in the potential, so there's that as well. But Luxray is of course going to be tanking better, and Zebstrika has speed over Luxray, so you can pick what you want to use for Wild Charge. But personally, I feel Zebstrika is better because of the stand fast 5. But anyways, let's go into this event and see how Zebstrika performs. So we already know what Luxray was hitting with on this event. He was hitting for, like, at most 8,000 damage that we saw. So we're going to raise Zebstrika's attack, and then start using Wild Charge over there, so we could at least see the potential. So we'll use one Wild Charge with a Luxray, and then we'll use one Wild Charge with Zebstrika, and then we'll see who actually hits harder with what they have right now. So of course, both of them will 100% be at +6 on their attack, which will be great. So we're going to use Wild Charge on Morel. So 2,400, and then we'll attack Claw Witzer, and then we'll go for the Wild Charge there. Now, we don't have Electric Terrain up, but we'll test that out in a second as well. So 2000 damage. Okay. Alright, let's go for a wild charge on you. So 2500, just about 2500. And then, okay, well. Alright, we'll go into this again. So Luxray, we're doing 2500 on the boss Pokemon. So we're going to use a wild charge on the boss Pokemon again. But with Zebstrika, and see how much the damage difference is. I mean, it's probably going to be the same regardless, because their attack stat is literally like the same. So, but when they're all built up, like 20 out of 20 and everything, Zebstrika is 100% going to be a lot stronger for pure damage. So now, okay, so let's get our crit all the way up, and then we'll attack the boss Pokemon with Zebstrika. So there we go. So, alright, can we at least get a crit? I don't even think that was a crit. Okay, so Luxray is hitting for 2500. Let's go with Electric Terrain and see the damage increase on Zebstrika. And then we'll attack with Luxray and see what Luxray could do. So that jumped up 1000 damage basically. So that's not bad. With Electric Terrain, that increased Zebstrika's damage by 1000 points, which is actually really, really good. So now we'll go with Wild Charge on Luxray and see Luxray's damage. So 3200. So like, I mean, from how it seems, Luxray does hit harder, and from like how it looks, Luxray probably does hit for like either the same amount or just a little bit harder because of everything else on the grid that Luxray has as well. Like when the target is flinched, you're going to be hitting harder. When the target is paralyzed, you're going to be hitting harder as well. So like when you have both of those active, Luxray is just going to be insane. But regardless, they're both very, very good partnered together. Because Luxray just completes the piece for the electric type category. Like, he really, really does. Because with electric terrain, all of the electric types get their buffs, and they're just going to be hitting so much harder. And another thing Luxray has, when you have electric terrain up, like this is when you have them 2 out of 5 or 3 out of 5 in the grid. But when you have, like in the grid, we could actually go to his grid right now and test this out very quickly, or see very quickly. Like Luxray, he mitigates more damage when electric terrain is up, which is very, very good. I think it's over here. No, that charges the move gauge. Right over here. Okay, so reduces damage when the Pokemon is hit by an attack when the field is in electric terrain. So like when electric terrain is up, Luxray is just going to be taking less damage. Now I don't know if that also takes effect like from recoil damage. Because like technically you are taking damage, so I don't know if that's also going to be mitigated from that. I don't think it will be, but if it does, then that's another thing that Luxray has to mitigate recoil damage, but I highly doubt that's what it is as well. But anyways, Zebstrika, the grid definitely benefits Zebstrika. And like Zebstrika is definitely a lot better because of course now you have the Stand Fast 5, both of them, so now you're going to be at like 10% recoil damage or 15. I can't exactly remember, but I think each Stand Fast 5 reduces 5%, but I could be wrong. But if it is 5%, then Zebstrika is going to be taking 10% recoil damage compared to 5%, which Luxray has. But Luxray also has healing and everything. But like I said, sometimes healing won't be able to keep up with the recoil damage, depending on how much damage you actually do. But Zebstrika, definitely a lot better with the grid. Is Zebstrika better than Lucario? I mean, Luxray in terms of damage with Wild Charge? I don't think so, because when you have Luxray properly set up with the opponent being flinched and paralyzed, Luxray is just going to be hitting so hard. But I don't know. Regardless, Zebstrika is so much better now, and I'm glad they finally got their grid. And they could also be 6 stars too, which is very, very good. So you know, when they get to 6 stars and you have electric terrain up, that AoE sync move is going to be insane. Like, they're going to be hitting so hard. Especially when you have their sync move power-ups as well. Like, they're just going to be insane. But anyways, that's going to be it for the video. Zebstrika and Elesa definitely got a nice buff from the grid and with Luxray with the electric terrain. So like if you have Luxray, Zebstrika is gonna be so much stronger too. But anyways, that'll be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys later.